I'm Adrian Seed and you're watching the evening edition of News on 2. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today said the privatisation policy, which was created in 1983, is still relevant in addressing problems related to the oversized civil service. The Premier added that through the policy, the government, amongst others, has successfully reduced its financial burden, increased efficiency and work productivity, boosted economic growth and ensured the efficient distribution of resources.
Pada tahun 1983, kerajaan telah memperkenalkan dasar penswastaan yang telah menyentuh peranan pihak swasta dalam pembangunan negara. Melalui dasar ini, antara lain kerajaan berjaya mengurangkan bebanan kewangannya, meninggikan kecekapan dan penghasilan kerja, menggalakkan pertumbuhan ekonomi dan pembangunan sumber secara cekap.
Tun Dr. Mahathir said this would increase the civil services productivity and thus allow them to receive a better salary. He gave the example of Telecom's privatization on the 12th October of 1984, where staff were moved to a private company, resulting in a reduction in the number of government workers and better remuneration packages for workers. On another matter, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government is working towards fulfilling the promises made in its 14th General Election Manifesto. However, he added that the misappropriation by the previous government is hampering the Pakatan Harapan government's efforts towards fulfilling the promises made.
Patutnya pada hari ini kita sudah lihat mereka yang dituduh melakukan kesalahan berkenaan dengan kewangan negara, khususnya SRC dan juga 1MDB telah dikemukakan kepada mahkamah. Tetapi sebagai kerajaan yang patuh pada the rule of law, kita patuh kepada tangguhan yang dibuat oleh mahkamah. Kita hormati mahkamah.
The government has subsidized Singapore over 2.4 billion ringgit in the selling of raw water to the island republic since the signing of the 1962 water agreement. Now, speaking in Parliament today, Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said it is estimated that Malaysia has provided a minimum subsidy rate of about 42 million ringgit each year to Singapore.
Ini adalah pada kadar minimum kalau nak diukur daripada tempoh perjanjian itu sampai sekarang, dan betullah seperti yang Yang Berhormat sebutkan, kita menjual dengan harga yang begitu murah tetapi kita membeli dengan harga yang mahal. Memang perkara ini menimbulkan banyak persoalan dan ada teknikalitinya. Untuk menghormati kepentingan soalan ini juga, pihak saya akan mengeluarkan kenyataan media selepas ini dengan penjelasan yang lebih terperinci.
The Foreign Ministry will issue a statement explaining in detail why the country sells water to Singapore at a cheap rate but buys it at an expensive rate. On the 5th of March, a closed-door negotiation was held between the officials from Malaysia and Singapore on the issue. Every Malaysian nationwide has the right of access to broadband technology and high-speed internet, and these facilities should be looked as a basic necessity just like water and electricity. Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo said knowledge on digital economy is important as it will be the key driver for the country's economic growth. Gobind also said that the Rakyat should be equipped with the knowledge on digital economy to enable them to be competitive in the future.
This is why my ministry is paying close attention to enhancing digital connectivity, and of course, do this and put in place robust and pervasive digital infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is extremely critical to enable the country to leverage on opportunities that are afforded by the digital economy, which will ultimately bring about that economic growth.
The minister said this after launching the British-Malaysian Chamber of Commerce Digital Innovation Conference at the Federal Capital. Gobind further noted that he was pleased that the ministry had successfully brought down the prices of broadband by at least 34%. Meanwhile, Gobind said a report on the 5G test bed and trials is expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of this year. Now, according to the minister, the 5G test bed and trials was an initiative of the government to ensure a holistic plan for the implementation of the high-speed network in the country. Elaborating further, Gobind said the outcome of the trials to be coordinated by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission from April to October this year would be shared with a multi-stakeholder 5G task force, which, amongst others, would be responsible in preparing the report.
Concurrently, the MCMC is also coordinating 5G test beds and trials from April to October this year. And results from this exercise will be shared with the task force for inclusion into their reports, which will be due in the fourth quarter of this year. The NFCP, ladies and gentlemen, also set a target of gigabit speed internet services for selected high-impact and strategic industrial areas in this country by the year 2020, and all state capitals by the year 2020.
Now, Gobind also clarified that his call for news portals to moderate the content of their comments on their social media sites is not meant to stifle freedom of speech, but rather to maintain decorum and avoid expressions which promotes inflammatory remarks. In a statement released, Gobind said while today's portals provide news and also an avenue for people to exchange comments on certain issues or reports, there is a need to exercise proper decorum on these platforms. With that context, the minister said he called for internet portals to self-regulate through moderating their stories on news and the comments posted on their sites. He further noted that this action was not meant to curtail civil liberties, as it is necessary for websites to self-regulate by monitoring readers' comments on their sites to filter out hate speech, which could impact the nation's stability. The Health Ministry is considering the use of artificial intelligence or AI technology, which, according to the Minister, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, will help improve efficiency and services delivery in the healthcare sector. He said discussions are ongoing with AI experts to explore and optimize services rendered by the Ministry through the use of AI. Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli, however, said that although the importance of AI is undeniable, it could never replace humans, adding that technology is merely a connector to newer and more advanced things.
AI juga akan kami guna dalam pelbagai hal, especially to address the waiting time yang very chronic dan perennial. Jadi banyak, itu pun juga bila saya bentang nanti, the entire vision of what I want to do, it's vision, then I will call all of you for a special meeting. I will do a presentation properly.
Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli said AI could be used in various health sectors, such as predicting a dengue outbreak and also addressing the long hospital waiting time, which is amongst 8 AI visions of the ministry. Meanwhile, the minister expressed hope that the implementation of the electronic medical record system could be carried out as soon as possible for the benefit of everyone. Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia or Bersatu says it is ready to initiate its election machinery and work alongside other Pakatan Harapan component parties to ensure the coalition's candidate Dr. S. Sriram wins the Rantau State Legislative Assembly seat by election. Bersatu Deputy President Datuk Sri Mukhriz Tun Dr. Mahathir said he expects the opposition to again play the racial card in Rantau as what they did during the Cameron Highlands and Semenyih by-elections. He added that this kind of tactic is very bad for a multiracial country as it could undermine racial equality.
Kita akan tengok kalau pihak lawan kita akan menggunakan isu perkauman seperti mana yang telah jelas mereka gunakan juga di Semenyih dan di Cameron Highlands. Yang mana saya lihat walaupun ianya berjaya menimbulkan sentimen dari kalangan rakyat, tetapi sebenarnya dia tidak selaras dengan semangat perpaduan yang sepatutnya kita pupuk dalam negara kita.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in has arrived in Malaysia today to begin a 3-day state visit. The special aircraft carrying the president and his wife, Kim Jong-suk, landed at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:40 p.m. Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, who is the Minister in Attendance, and International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Darrell Laking welcomed President Moon and Kim. President Moon is the first foreign head of state to be hosted by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah since his ascension to the throne on the 31st of January. The South Korean president will hold a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad tomorrow to discuss various bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. President Moon and Tun Dr. Mahathir will also witness the signing of 4 memorandums of understanding involving industrial cooperation relating to the 4th Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0, cooperation in the field of transportation, the development of a smart city in Malaysia, as well as cooperation in the halal industry. Wisma Putra in a statement said that President Moon's visit is expected to further reinvigorate Kuala Lumpur's Seoul ties and lay new groundwork for bilateral relations to flourish. Coming up, widow, 2 teens claim trial to murder of Cradle Fund CEO. That story up next. Two schools in Pasir Gudang, Johor, namely Sekolah Kebangsaan Tanjung Puteri Resort and Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tanjung Puteri Resort, were evacuated today when many students experiencing breathing difficulties and began vomiting, believed to be from the exposure to the chemical pollution which were dumped at Sungai Kim Kim last Thursday. Now, many parents reached the schools beginning 11 a.m. to find out the condition of their children who were receiving early treatment at the community hall at Taman Pasir Puteh in Pasir Gudang.
Rumah akak dekat je, akak tengah buat kerja, akak dengar ambulan bunyi teruk kan. Akak cakap dengan abang, pergilah tengok, takut budak-budak sekolah ada apa-apa kan. Sekali abang pergi tengok, dia dah tak ada. Orang yang pertama lah hantar sini. Saya sedih tengok budak-budak ramai-ramai kat dalam tu, tak sampai hati. Saya maklum daripada WhatsApp sekolah, 2 bistari. Jadi saya pun tengok WhatsApp 10 lebih. Maknanya WhatsApp tu pukul 10 lebih lah. Jadi seterus, ya? Pukul 10 lebih saya dapat berita ni. Jadi saya terus datang ke sekolah. Tiba-tiba kawannya bagi tahu dia pingsan dan muntah. Lepas tu saya terus gegas ke sini.
A total of 260 students from both schools were brought to the community hall after experiencing symptoms of breathing difficulties, nausea and vomiting. Before that, around 10 a.m., 8 students from both schools were taken to the Sultan Ismail Hospital, Johor Bahru, after experiencing the same symptoms. The location of these 2 schools are around 3.2 kilometers from Sekolah Kebangsaan Taman Pasir Puteh and Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Pasir Puteh, which were ordered closed yesterday after they were affected by the same toxic fumes from the polluted river. The widow of former Cradle Fund Chief Executive Officer Nazrin Hassan and 2 teens pleaded not guilty at the Shah Alam High Court in Selangor to the murder of her late husband. Now, the accused, Samira Muzaffar, and the 2 teenagers pleaded not guilty after the charge was read to them before Judge Dato Abdul Karim Abdul Rahman. Based on the charge sheet, the trio, together with Indonesian national Ika Wahyu Lestari, who is still at large, allegedly committed the crime at a house in Mutiara Damansara between 11:30 p.m. on the 13th of June and 4 a.m. on the 14th of June of last year. Samira and the teenage boys were not allowed bail, and their case will be up for mention on the 11th of April. The charge under Section 302 of the Penal Code and read in conjunction with Section 34 of the same code provides for the mandatory death sentence upon conviction. 3 friends pleaded not guilty at the Aikro Sessions Court today to a charge of committing armed robbery against a senior citizen couple on the 6th of January. Now, the accused, Muhammad Shahirul Nizam Muhammad Sharif, 24, Muhammad Abdullah Muhammad Noah, 30, and Sopian Othman, 34, made the plea in front of Judge Nurma Ismail. According to the charge sheet, all the accused were charged of committing the crime using machetes against Goh Kim Lee, 77, and Lim Lei Hong, 70. The crime was allegedly committed at Jalan Melaka Raya 12, Taman Melaka Raya, at around 8:30 a.m. on the 6th of January. All the accused were charged under Section 395 of the Penal Code, which carries a 20-year prison sentence or whipping if found guilty. Deputy Prosecutor Hayatul Wardiah Moh Yunus had earlier proposed for a bail of 30,000 ringgit and requested additional terms for each of the accused. Muhammad Asharirul Nizam, who was unrepresented, however, pleaded for the amount to be reduced, while Muhammad Abdullah and Sopian stated that they have to support their family. Upon hearing the proposal and appeals by both parties, Norma allowed a bail of 15,000 ringgit for each accused with one surety and ordered them not to intimidate the witnesses, or the bail will be withdrawn immediately. She also ordered all the accused to report themselves every month to the nearest police station until the case was completed. The court set 11th of April for mention of the case. A 19-year-old mechanic pleaded not guilty to the charge of allegedly raping an underage girl at the Merlo Sessions Court today. The charge against the accused was read in front of Judge Azwa Che Yusof. The 15-year-old victim, who has a 4-month-old child, is currently living with her mother. Authorities have also conducted a DNA test on the victim's child to ascertain the child's genetic background. According to the charge sheet, the accused was believed to have raped the girl in a house at Taman Termelo Jaya in Kuantan Pahang on the 10th of April. The accused was charged under Section 376 subsection 1 of the Penal Code, which carries a maximum jail sentence of 20 years and whipping if convicted. He was represented by Aidi Tajuddin. Deputy Prosecutor Salwa Asmari Abdul Rahim had earlier requested for a 10,000 ringgit bail as the offence was non-bailable. The judge, however, declined to allow a bail of 5,000 ringgit and ordered the accused to report himself to the nearest police station periodically. Salwa Asmari also requested additional conditions to be imposed, of which the accused and his family were forbidden to meet the victim. The accused was, however, allowed to provide for the child by banking in cash into the child's account. The court set 23rd of April for mention of the case. That item in sports concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, privatization policy still relevant after 36 years. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Adrian Seat. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.